Hi, I'm Carleen Clearwater with Kickass Marketing and Creative, and today's Thursday throwback video is all about personal notes. It is one of my favorites. If you think I obsess about business cards and name tags, personal notes are right up there for me as well. First also I want to give a little shout out to my Snoopy tea because today is Snoopy's birthday. So great way to celebrate Snoopy's birthdays with a Snoopy tea, right? So let's hop right into it. So today's inspiration for the throwback is I got a card from a client and some friends over at Access Gallery. If you're here in Colorado, they are fantastic. They're a nonprofit organization that works with people with mental and physical disabilities, and through art mentorship and art coaching. It's an amazing organization, and so I'm a volunteer there and a sponsor and a board member. I've been everything, and I'm dug in like crazy. But they sent me one of their cards with art on it from one of their artists. And then on the inside, it's got all the personal notes and personal drawings and thank yous. I mean, this is like the Uber of personal thank you notes. And so it inspired me to do this video. And this is the deal. Personal notes work. I have kept all the personal notes that I've ever received. I mean, there's maybe a few I missed, but in the last 20 some odd years, I've got a little stationery box. It was my grandmother's, and they get tossed in here after they sit out on my desk for a while, but this isn't very many for almost 20 years in the business, and I send out hundreds. I send out oodles and oodles and oodles of personal notes because they just work. If you want to stand out from the crowd or make a personal introduction to someone or get a personal introduction to someone, do it with a personal note. So the throwback inspiration is a piece that I've had in my portfolio since '95. I was a graphic artist for South Florida Magazine. This particular client sent in a piece of film and a photo for us to create their full page ad. Well, the slide was square and full page ad is vertical, and so I had to use the cloning tool. This is Photoshop 1, people. This is not easy. It took me hours with these shadows, but essentially I cloned background so that they could have bleed in their full page ad. And when I did that, the sales executive or the account rep Bridget sent me a personal note on a panel card and a black baseball hat with white lettering, which I just thought was so cool. And so I wore it all the time. But this card, it just stuck with me, and it kicked off my obsession with panel cards. I love having personal branding. I love having my name on things. With a name like Carleen, it's, I didn't have stickers and license plates or book tags, book bags, hair clips with my name on them when I was little. So now that I'm a graphic designer, I can put my name on everything, and I love it. So this is one of the kickoff inspirations. Very shortly after that, I worked with DJS Marketing out of Coconut Grove in Miami. Deborah Scarpa, woo, that lady taught me about how being buttoned up makes a difference. Everything we did was by hand and by mail. That's how we did it back then, but ultimately just stunning. Obviously, these are stationery cards. I had this in my portfolio for a really long time because, of course, I laid this out. It was a very gorgeous and fabulous piece in my portfolio for a long, long time. But this is obviously a standard stationery size, but doing something like this back then obviously was really expensive. Now it's even expensive because of the envelope. Doing a card, you could probably print this card out on your office printer, or especially if you have one of those big jumbo color copiers or printers. But envelopes are still something that stands to be expensive. It's, they've got to print them, cut them, fold them. So envelopes still are not something that's cheap. And when you're a small business and you're trying to get everything uploaded and trying to get rock and rolling, why print more than one envelope? So the size that I love the most and Jones about the most is, this is a standard size business envelope. Obviously, this is my stationery business envelope. I print this size panel card. It's an 8.5 by 3.667, which means it's exactly 3 up. 1, 2, 3 up on 8.5 by 11. This batch was professionally printed, but my first batch was not. My first batch I set up by myself, ran over to Office Depot, grabbed 10 sheets of some glittery paper that they had them hit print. I cut them right there with their, paper cutter that they had, their little slicer that they had right there for customers to use. And boom, I had 25 personal panel cards that fit in an envelope, standard white envelope that I put a sticker on, until I have my own envelopes printed. So you don't have to do expensive. What I love about this panel card size, it just fits on everything. But if you're sending out an invoice, if you're sending out a proposal, if you're sending out, some other kind of standard 8.5 by 11 communication, how awesome is it to open it up and you're expecting an invoice, even if it is an invoice, right on the front is a personal note that says, thank you for your business. I really appreciated what we worked on this month, or I loved how we knocked it out of the park with referral cards, or I love how we really looked kick-ass at the networking event we did. Remind them, not just with an invoice, but remind them of what awesomeness you did that month for them and why you're sending them a bill and why they're going to be happy to send you their money, right? So love this size. Another amazing size is standard 8.5 by 11 folded. That creates an A9 card, which is a standard stationery card. It's usually a invitation size envelope. A9 is a standard A9 is a standard invitation envelope, which means like Christmas cards. So you can find them at Office Max, Office Depot. Now there's so many amazing stationery stores. You can really just jam. But I love 8.5 by 11. Print it out on some really nice heavier paper, fold it in half, boom, you're done, right? Of course, I have the Forget Calm and Kick-Ass On cards that I had professionally printed, but I send out oodles and oodles and oodles of cards, and so it's worth it for me to have them professionally printed. But this is the kicker. I am obsessed with clear envelopes. These are USPS approved clear envelopes. You can order these things online. They're a little bit expensive, not gonna lie. They're a little bit expensive, but you can go to stationery stores and now you can find them. So you can buy them individually, if you're only sending out like 10 or 15, but standard 8.5 by 11 card or paper folded in half. And this is how my card arrives in the mail. And so I put the label on the back. It takes special postage. This is a 2-ounce stamp. Check with your post office people on how much it's gonna cost for you to send out something. That's just what mine costs, because I checked with them. But how cool is this? I mean, you're not getting lost in the mail. You're not getting lost in the junk mail. White envelopes are tough. I talk about white envelopes all the time. If you're doing a personal note, if you're doing stationery, if you're doing an event, man, I love these clear envelopes. I mean, obviously, why print an envelope when you're already printing and spending all this money on an invitation or a personal card? Just stick it inside a clear envelope, rock and roll. Very, very cool, right? Love clear envelopes. Here's another great sample of, this is before up on 8.5 by 11, standard 69 cents a sheet. If you have a big old color copier in your office or you're in a co-working space, those big old color copiers and printers, they're gonna be able to handle an 80-pound, 100-pound cardstock. Just ask, if you're in a co-working space before you hit print them up, 8.5 by 11, 4 up. Usually in a house printer and or co-working space, you're only paying 15 cents or 20 cents a sheet. So that's freaking amazing cost. Little personal note on the back and you're jamming. This is also 4 up, 8.5 by 11. Also fits a standard size envelope, so you can hit a stationery store, buy a really cool color package of paper, package of envelopes, and jam. Another great thing is, if you're doing a Christmas card every year, quick note, don't print the year on them. Print just a beautiful Christmas card. You don't have to print the year on them. Use the extras next year for new colleagues and clients that haven't met you and didn't get the card last year. So use up those Christmas cards by not printing the date on them, or if you did print the date on them and you've got a ton of those left over from last year, use the envelopes. The envelopes are gorgeous. They're beautiful colors. They've got foil printing, embossed printing. Use those envelopes, print out some cards, some panel cards, have some panel cards printed that will fit inside those envelopes. You can use those as your personal stationery for the rest of the year. So there's always ways. Print's not cheap, but it's worth it. But there are a lot of ways that you can be thrifty and use up all of your, all the items that you print without, being wasteful or wasting that money or that budget. So we've talked about quarter size you can print. This is just 8.5 by 11, really nice paper that fit through an office printer. They print 2 up, fold it in half, fits in a standard size envelope. You don't have to go custom. You do not have to go custom. There are so many beautiful, oodles and oodles of beautiful stationery cards out there. just pick a box that fits you, fits your brand, fits your colors, stick your business card on the inside, stamp it with your business card, you know, with your return envelope, stamp on the envelope, and you're jamming. This is a personal touch that is insane. So I got a thank you card from a client. This is not their brand, you know, it's my brand. The Kickass, the All In, you know, that's my brand. So they went and picked a card, a personal card, to say thank you to me with my language, with my kind of my brand and my personality. So if you really want to knock it out of the park, pick a personal card per person. That's insane, you know? So again, these are some of my best ideas. Oh, I've got one more. Say you're in a big company. So we did these when I was at the Gazette. Say you're in a big company and you're trying to just keep each other going and keep the vibe going and keep the mojo going, right? It's hard to do, but it's the little things every day that we do for each other. It's the little things we do every day to like help each other out, keep each other going, keep each other pumped up. You know, not to mention even the big things. You make a big sale, you win a new client, you land a meeting, you land a coffee. We did these cards, we called them kudo cards, and the fronts of them had sayings like, I'm a big fan, you save my bacon. It was basically it was Carleen sayings. So I'm not gonna lie, it's a bunch of my sayings, but it's just little tiny business card size. You could just do one saying on the front, and then on the back it just says a little to and from and a little place to write a little tiny note. You could print a box of these for like $100, $150. You could probably print 1,000 of these. Give a whole stack to everybody in your team. And just, you know, it was so cool. Of course, we put them up on big boards. We made a big deal out of it. But they can just be personal notes. They don't have to get all, you don't have to get all big on the show boards at work or anything. You can just keep them personal. But a business card, you know, 3 cents. It costs the company 3 cents to give your team a tool to say thank you for anything, for every little thing. You know, say thank you, celebrate the wins, say thank you. It's just, you can get this tiny and it still counts. I have a stack. I kept all of mine, of course, you know. But again, personal notes count. If you're out there looking for a job, send a personal note. If you're trying to make a connection, send a personal note. I get so many connections on LinkedIn that have nice notes. They seem canned. I send out a ton of personal notes. You don't have to send out all of them. If you get a stack of 10 business cards, maybe just 2 are worth a personal note. You know, someone once asked me, is it really worth your time? You know, is it really worth the effort, you know, to send out all these personal notes? Yes, is my answer. Yes. If you really want to connect with that person, if you really want to say thank you and it's a new client or it could be client, yes. Is it worth $1 of a card and an envelope and 10 minutes of your time? Yes. The answer is yes, yes, and yes. So that's how I feel about personal notes. That's my Throwback Thursday video. Great. I hope you guys get on out there and kick ass. Talk to you soon. Bye.